Well, it's a Sunday night, and it's after 10 p.m. on a Sunday night, which means I'm doing my live stream basically just to do my live stream today. Hey, everybody, I'm DP Knudten for the NONFICTION BRAND podcast, and the book that I'm trying to write in time for January 1st, 2021, called NONFICTION BRAND, Discovering, Crafting, and Communicating the Completely True, Completely You brand that you already are. And as part of that task, that journey, that path, I am doing these live streams to keep myself moving the book forward in one form or another. Yep, 301 consecutive live streams that are moving that book forward, one page, 1 inch, one paragraph, one word, one character at a time. Yep, and let me tell you, I'm feeling it tonight because it is Sunday night, and my daughter decided to commandeer the basement where I have my office so she could watch Godfather, which I'm all for because it's one of the great movies of all time. And she's actually becoming quite the cinemaphile, which I truly appreciate. So it's a pain in the butt, but here I am now talking to you. And so I'm going to go over to iThoughts, which is my mind mapping software that you see in front of me now. I changed it from white on black or black on white to white on black because it's it's a little bit easier on my eyes. It's kind of dark mode for outlines and mind maps. And I'm just going to go through this a little bit before I call it a night because I do need to move this book forward even when I don't want to. So tonight's maybe one of those nights, but then again, if you listen back to any of these live streams, you'll hear me saying the same thing every night, which is, I'm not really feeling it, but I got to do this anyway. Well, that's kind of the way books get written. Some people get out of bed in the morning jumping for joy that they get to write. I am not one of those people. I've been a professional copywriter for 27 years or something like that. And I'll be honest with you, I can do it, and I'm pretty good at it. But I am not one of those people who pretended to be a writer from age 6 on. It's more like, yeah, I can do this and most people can't. So I guess this is a job. I guess this is my career. And that's how I feel about it. Just bringing the tea, baby. Bringing the hot tea, the hot truth right at you. All right, so I'm looking through the theory part of my book, looking for gaps or logical pauses or, big old holes that I need to fill. I am not a fiction writer. That goes back to the kind of the initial idea of nonfiction branding and where it came from. Branding gets personal. That's all talking about personal branding and Tom Peters' article in Fast Company magazine. Then we're going to talk broadly about branding in general, what it is, what it isn't. And especially this, the logo is not a brand, but it's part of one. Susie Orman, Financial Services. Okay, we'll leave that there. Why brand? Ask the Red Gummy Bear. That's based on a talk I give all the time. And I found this stock photo of a bunch of, it's like shot from above, a bunch of clear, translucent gummy bears. But one of the gummy bears is a red gummy bear. And it just stands out like crazy. And I think it's the perfect representation of personal branding. Most people on this planet have done nothing to identify themselves, package themselves, introduce themselves, and continually reintroduce themselves in a certain area of what they do and how they do it. so that they become synonymous with that. So back where I was talking about Susie Orman, what am I going to do with that? Well, frankly, she is a great example of someone who has grabbed on to a part of business and made it her own. And she hasn't really done anything novel. I mean, the advice she gives is very sound advice in financial services, especially for women becoming a little bit more secure in their financial lives, stuff like that. But she's not teaching anything that is like Nobel Prize winning economics. It's more conventional wisdom framed up with a package of, you can do it, girl. And I think that's wonderful. I'm not, believe me, if it sounds like I'm belittling Susie Orman, I'm not. I totally respect what she's done. And especially her story that she tells about her being a waitress, I think, and getting a hold of her financial life and then teaching other people how to do it, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. She's a fantastic case study. And frankly, she's going to be a case story inside this book for that very reason. So am I picking on her? No, I'm inspired by her. Where the heck was that? I need to... No. Branding gets personal. That's where it was. Or wasn't. Logo. Anyway. I'm looking through this stuff, looking for holes. The nonfiction brand. Your nonfiction brand, the foundation. Me or my biz. What's your key 3? What's your brand? What's your flagship? What's your brand look like? You in living color. Leave that there. What else? I'm just a plumber. That'll be talking to Roger Wakefield. I got to remember to get Roger on the podcast. The Nonfiction Brand podcast comes out every Monday. Episode 83 is coming out tomorrow with Jerry Ann Wiesbrook of Military Mama Network, a Facebook group of like 20,000 people at least. And really fascinating story about how she and her group got an all expenses paid Hollywood produced and shot commercial courtesy of Facebook that ran all during this past holiday season. If you probably saw it on TV actually, and you should check out the podcast. That's episode number 83 with Jerry Ann Wiesbrook, which launches or premieres tomorrow on Monday, March 23rd at 3 a.m. in the morning, Central Time. So what is that, 4 a.m. Eastern and 1 a.m. Pacific? Personal brands. Branding is personal. Brand look like me or my biz. What's the difference? How do you answer your phone? Yep. Yeah. So I'm capturing all these concepts so that when I actually sit down to write some of these sections, I already have the concepts figured out. And it's then becomes a matter of creating the narrative link between those concepts within that section. It goes a lot faster. And it's not, I guess when I do this, I never have a blank page. I don't have a fear of a blank page because my page is never truly blank, because I've already captured a lot of the concepts that I want to write about in that section, in that chapter, on that page. You know, people often ask about writing, how do you write every day? And the answer is, you write every day. Seriously, there's something about putting your hands on the home row. If you're a touch typist, like I pretend to be, but I'm a terrible touch typist, I put my fingers on ASDF and HJ, or what is that? JKL semicolon, and get my fingers on the home row, and I start typing. And I guess that's my point, which is, how do you start writing? You start typing. That's the real point I was trying to make. There's something about the sense memory of putting your fingers on the home row of your keyboard that gets you back in the frame of mind of actually writing something. And that's part of what I'm doing right now today, is getting down here, putting on my writer's cap, if you will, and moving this book forward one way or another. Personal brands in real life, yeah, that's a whole bunch of different people. Can't you ever have a different haircut? Susie Orman. Just a plumber scuffles. What's her name? I'm going to go purpose built versus one size doesn't fit all. So that's a concept right there. I have this concept I talk about all the time called the difference between a scalpel and a Swiss Army knife. And one of the key concepts under that is the idea of something that is purpose-built for a task versus something that's built to cover a great many tasks, and consequently it's not good at any one. It's the kind of jack of all trades, master of none, versus being a master of one. Oh, maybe that's good. Jack of all trades or master of one. I think that would be a good headline, or a good subhead within that section. Yeah. All right. As I said, this is going to be a short one tonight because I'm tired and I want to go to bed. So, I'm going to sign off. Yeah, after only not even 15 minutes. Yeah, I'm going to sign off because I've done my job for the day, which is do a live stream that moves my book forward, maybe only a couple of millimeters, but it's moved forward. It's advanced a little bit further, and I've gotten a little bit more done. The fact is, I could beat myself up and say, oh, I'm going to sit here and stare at the screen for 2 hours and not get anything done. Or I can close this off, shut it down, get some sleep, come back fresh tomorrow, and hit it again. Sometimes the smartest thing to do as a writer is to know when you need to stop being a writer. And for today, that time is now. So, I'm D.P. Knudten for the Nonfiction Brand podcast and Nonfiction Brandversity, a free Facebook group I'd love to invite you to join. It's all you have to do is go to Facebook, search Nonfiction Brandversity, ask to join, and I'll answer 3 questions to prove you're not a bot, and you are in. Don't forget the Nonfiction Brand podcast comes out tomorrow, episode 83 with Jerry Ann Wiesbrook of Military Mama Network. Very interesting episode, if you ask me. And that's it for me tonight. So let's hear the theme music on the way out. and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.